Hi, welcome to Reformer class. I'm Bridget. Thank you so much for joining me. This is a level 2 class and let's get started. We are going to start as we normally do with a little bit of footwork to get your body moving. I'm going to flip my headrest up because I prefer it that way, and I'm also going to look down into my spring wall. I like to do my footwork springs on 2 reds, a green and a yellow, which I'm adding right now. And we're gonna lay all the way down on your spine in a supine position and line yourselves up. So once we do spin around and lay down, the first thing we always do when we lay down on our back is line up our shoulders and line up our hips to make sure we're even on the machine. We'll then put our toes on and kiss our heels together in that small Pilates V. Arms are down by our side, chest is proud, upper abs are kicked in, and we're going to bring our pelvis into a neutral position so our tailbone is heavy. When you're ready, we'll take an inhale, push the machine all the way out to straight legs, and exhale, bending our knees, squeezing our heels together, pulling the machine back in towards the stopper. Inhale, elongating out, and I forgot to say this on the first one, pop your head up and make sure your feet are lined up. Mine are actually nicely lined up right now. Usually they're a little off. And exhale, resisting back in. We are in an external rotation from the hip socket, pushing from the seat of our pants, engaging our inner thighs. Resist, pull the machine back. Let's take this for 4 more. Press 4. And exhale, resist in. Inhale, length for 3. And resisting back. Pressing away for 2, really squeezing your heels together so you get your inner thighs or your VMOs kicked in, and taking it out, last 1. Pull the machine halfway in and pause. We're going to go for a set of pulses. Lower the machine down an inch and press back up an inch. There's 8. Pulse 7. Think glutes and pelvic floor for 6. Breathe 5. Press 4. 3, I think I'm going to sneeze, maybe not. Take 2, whew. Last 1. Press all the way out to straight legs and pause. Separate the heels so your feet are parallel and drop your heels underneath the foot bar and hold. Take a nice calf stretch down right now. You can keep both heels reaching under at the same time, or to increase the stretch through your left calf, bend your right knee, keeping the pelvis in neutral, and sink into that left calf stretch and breathe for 3. Inhaling, exhale, breathe for 2. And last 1. Let's go ahead, press the opposite side down. So I'm now bending my left knee, my right calf is getting a stretch, and I'm breathing right there for 3. Inhale, exhale, breathe for 2. Last breath. Now both heels on, both toes on, both heels lifted. We're going to lower both heels under and roll through the foot, lifting your heels up. 8. Lowering down, lift 7. Lower, lift for 6. Now you can do this flat-footed, but you'll still get calf work for 5. But if you think about really rolling through the foot, articulating the foot, you'll get that much more work out of it for 4, because you'll be working your feet and your calves at the same time. For 3, lift for 2. Lift to hold. Bend your knees, come all the way in, parallel legs, tailbone's heavy. You're going to be tempted to tuck it. Press all the way back out with parallel legs reaching away. Bending, resisting in, and inhale, elongating out. My goal is to always make more work as I bend my knees, creating that resistance as I get when I push the machine all the way out. And we've got 5 more. Bending in for 5. Reaching the legs out straight. Once again, getting into that under butt. There's 4. So that hamstring glute connection is really propelling us here. You will also definitely feel your quads kicking in. There's 3 more. Lengthening out. My heels are steady in space, so as I bend my knees in for 2, I feel like I flex at my ankle, and as I press back out for our last one, it feels like you point your toes to keep those heels steady. Bring the machine halfway in once again and pause. Pulse the machine down. There's 8. Glutes and inner thighs, 7. Breathe 6. exhale, 5. Time you pulse down, pelvic floor, 4. Little Kegel muscle for 3, 2, last 1. Press the machine all the way out to straight legs, hold. Take your hands onto your hip bones because you don't want the pelvis to move at all. Bend one knee, push the opposite heel down, there's 8. Inhale, lift, and exhale, switch for 7. Inhale and exhale, press for 6. Reach 5. Take it for 4. Lift and press for 3. Take your hands back down by your side if your pelvis is steady, 2. Last one right here. Lift both heels up nice and high, bend both knees, come all the way into the stopper. From here, reach your hand around and flip your headrest down flat. We're gonna go for pelvic curls, so you do really need that headrest flat. You can be on your toes, arches, or heels. Toes will be a little bit more challenging. If you're prone to cramping in your hamstrings, I recommend being on the arch or the heel of the foot. You don't want to be really pressed up against your shoulder blocks, but you can be lightly touching them. Taking an inhale here from a neutral position, exhale, tuck the pelvis, push your low back into the mat, and start to peel your vertebra up and off the mat one at a time. Once you get all the way up to the top, you hold for an inhale, little sip of air, and exhale, roll it all the way back down. One vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down. Once again, sip of air at the bottom, inhaling. Exhale, initiate by tucking the pelvis, pushing your low back down to then peel your vertebra up and off the machine, reaching those knees forward. If you are on your toes, really drop your heels down as much as you can. You inhale, hold, and exhale, roll those hips all the way back down. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale at the bottom. Exhale, let's take it up for 5 more. Tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, peeling your vertebra up and off. There's 5. Inhale, holding the top. Exhale, rolling your hips all the way back down. Tailbone comes down, inhaling. Exhale, tucking the pelvis, taking it up for 4. Rolling up, reach those knees forward, widening the collarbone. You inhale, hold. Exhale, articulating all the way back down. When you're rolling up and down, you also want to get the sensation that you're pulling your glutes towards your heels. It pulls the machine in towards the stopper and just gives you a deeper connection into those glutes. Now there's 3. Rolling down. How deeply can you articulate your spine? You might find a few vertebrae as you roll up and roll down where they feel like they're stuck together. You don't articulate smoothly. I want you to think about holding and trying to increase the stretch there as you bring it for 2, or just go a little bit slower through that part. Rolling back down. Your spine should feel like a string of pearls that's being lifted up and off a tabletop one at a time and replaced back down one at a time. Last set, let's roll it up, or last rep I should say, roll it up to hold. Pausing up there, we're just going to go for a set of pulses. If you're on your toes, make sure you keep your heels low. Lower the pelvis down just an inch, tuck the pelvis, push the hips up, there's 8. Press 7. Breathe, 6. Back of the neck is long, 5. Hello glutes, there's 4. Press for 3. Take 2. And last 1. Articulate your spine all the way down, 1 vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale. We are going to get into some single leg work next. If you are cramping in your hamstrings, I highly recommend arches or heels. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, tuck your pelvis, squeeze those glutes, roll your hips all the way up to pause. And since we are doing single leg work, I'm going to ask you to bend your elbows, place your hands just lightly on your hip bones because I don't want the pelvis to move at all. Without letting the pelvis move and without letting your left heel lift up, bring your right leg into tabletop, reach it straight up towards the ceiling. Point that right toe and then draw me a perfect circle on the ceiling with that leg for 8. Circle 7. You're drawing the same circle over and over again for 6. Can you get your left heel any lower? 5. Circle 4, 3, 2, and reverse. There's 8. 7, pelvis should be completely stable. 6, 5, 4, here's 3, hello,
2, pause right there. Keep that right leg reaching up. Take your hands down by your side. Single leg pelvic curls. Roll down your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale. Your right leg is still reaching up. Exhale, roll those hips back up towards the ceiling 4 times. Lift, there's 4. Keeping the left heel low. Inhale, holding. Exhale, rolling down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Keep reaching through that right leg. And exhale, rolling it up for 3. If you're getting a little shake or a little tremor in your body, you know you're doing it properly. Inhale, holding the top. Exhale, rolling down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Holding at the bottom for a sip of air. Exhale, taking it up for 2. Lift, there's 2. Inhale, holding the top. Exhale, once again, rolling down. Here's our last single leg pelvic curl. Inhale, holding at the bottom. Exhale, rolling it all the way up to pause up at the top. Replace that right foot down. Hopefully the pelvis didn't shift too much. Take an inhale. Exhale, roll down your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Ooh, we get to open up that left hip, just in case it took too much tension. Right foot's gonna stay exactly where it is. Cross your left ankle to your right knee and go for a figure 4 stretch. With my figure 4, I always make sure my bottom ribs and my bottom hip bones are perfectly lined up. You don't want to scrunch one side in. Keeping those lined up, I push my left knee away. And I take a lovely stretch on my left hip. Some people like to hug this shape in. Do what you need to do, but let's take 3 more deep breaths, just stretching open that left hip for 3. Inhale, exhale, breathe, there's 2. And last breath right here. And let's replace that left foot back down. Taking an inhale here, we've got to do that whole set on the opposite side. Inhale, exhale, tuck the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, roll your hips all the way up towards the ceiling and hold. This time, and I'm going to once again take my hands onto my hip bones. Keep your right leg exactly where it is. Bring your left leg into tabletop. Reach it straight up towards the ceiling. Point that left toe. Start to draw me that perfect circle on the ceiling for 8. Circle 7. Really extend through that left leg for 6. Try to touch the ceiling for 5, 4, breathe 3, 2, and reverse the direction for 8, 7, 6. Hello, right glute for 5, 4. Here's 3, 2. And once again, keep that leg reaching up. You're going to roll down your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Single leg pelvic curls. Now we're using that right leg. You inhale, hold the bottom for a sip of air. And you exhale, squeeze the glutes, roll your hips all the way up. There's 4. Inhale, holding the top. Exhale, rolling down. 1 vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down, taking an inhale. Exhale, taking it up for 3. Lift, inhale, hold the top, exhale, articulating down, stretching the spine, widening the collarbone, inhale, holding at the bottom, almost feels like a stretch at the bottom through your left hamstring, exhale, squeezing that right glute, really stabilizing from the obliques as you bring it up for 2, rolling down, can you really point through that left foot so it gets some work, and rolling up, last one. Once you get all the way up to the top, you're going to pause, replace that left foot down, clean up that pelvic curl, and articulate down your spine 1 vertebrae at a time. Tailbone comes down. This time you're going to cross your right ankle to your left knee. Figure 4 stretch. Once again, make sure the bottom ribs and the hips bones are lined up. Tailbone's heavy. I like to do a light rock side to side, and we'll take 3 breaths right here. Or you can hug the shape in, whatever you need to do for 2 more deep breaths. Inhale and exhale, breathe, last one. Ooh, and it's now time for your series of 5, which is our classical abdominal warm-up. I'm gonna flip my headrest back up because that just feels better on my neck. And I'm also gonna be taking my foot bar down so I have full range of motion. You can leave your foot bar up. It's just gonna limit your range of motion to your legs, your choice. Once I get my foot bar down, I will then lay all the way back down on my spine. Line up those shoulders so they're about 1 inch away from the shoulder blocks. Bring your legs into tabletop and reach your arms straight up towards the ceiling. Now, even though I'm reaching up, I'm pulling down on my shoulder blades. If you've got some neck stuff going on, you can take your hands behind your head to support your neck. Take an inhale here. On your exhale, chest lift up as the hands come down in line with the hips. And we're gonna take that for 5, because it is a series of 5. We're resisting back down. Just warming up those abdominals for 4. Inhaling back. Whew. Breathe for 3. Resist. Exhale, peeling up and off for 2. In a perfect world, you'd lift up so high that your shoulder blades would come up and off the mat. And lift to hold. Chest lift up to pause. One of 3 things with the arms. Down by the sides, behind the head, or as you extend your left leg out, you can take them on top of the right shin, which is just the classical abdominal version. On your exhale, let's exchange those legs 8 times. Think about placing your foot out there. There's 8. Place for 7. Abs to spine 6. Can you go up a little bit higher? Reach 5. Take it for 4. Breathe for 3. Take 2. Curling up higher. Last one. Pull both knees in. Fill your spine up a little bit more, yet keep your tailbone heavy. Double leg stretch. If you have neck stuff, once again, take your hands behind your head. Reach the arms and legs away in opposition. Circle those arms around, pull the knees back into tabletop. There's 8. Length, circle for 7. As the arms and legs reach away, sink your abdominals down for 6 to support that spine. Once again, pelvis doesn't get to move for 5. Whew, it's all about that stabilization. There's 4, that's where the work comes in. Breathe for 3. Once again, slow and steady wins the race. It makes you take it deeper. Makes it more challenging for 2. Last one right here, reach, bring it around. Extend those legs straight up towards the ceiling. You can do this in parallel or turn out, whatever feels best for you. Hands come behind the head to support the neck. Or if you've got some neck stuff going on, you can let your head rest down, holding onto your silver pegs. From here, without letting the pelvis move 1 millimeter, we're gonna lower our legs down, lightly touching our foot bar, and bring those legs right back up towards the ceiling. There's 8. Lowering down, lift for 7. Inhaling down. If this is going into your back in a negative way, limit your range of motion for 6. And if you have a bend in your knees because of hamstring limitations, there's 5. Keep the bend consistent. Lower and lift for 4. So once again, the movement's just happening from the femur bone in the hip socket. For 3. Whew, this is really hard today. Lowering down, lifting up for 2. Whew. Lower, lift to hold. Bring yourself back into a chest lift. If your head was down, grab behind your right calf. Lower your left leg down so it lightly touches the foot bar. We're gonna pulse your right leg in towards you twice. Go exhale, exhale. Exchange legs, grab the left leg and pulse it in twice. Exhale, exhale. Back to the right here, 6. Exhaling for 5. To the right for 4. Breathe for 3. Take 2. And last one. Exhale, exhale. Now taking it into hamstring pull 3. Left leg is up, right leg is down. Hands come behind your head and you twist towards the leg that's up, recruiting those obliques. Exhale, switch legs, switch rotations, 8. Up and over, 7. There's 6. Breathe, 5. Twist, 4. Abs to spine for 3. Really still reaching through your legs for 2. Last one right here. Hug your knees in. Take a breather. Roll around on your low back. Oh, enjoy a moment. A little happy baby is always a good place to be. Whew. And we've got to sit yourself up to pop your foot bar back into place. If your foot bar is already in place, just happy baby a little bit longer. Slide locks in, and let's lay you all the way back down. Once again, line up those shoulders, line up the hips and take the heel of your foot as wide as it can go onto the foot bar. With wide heels, keep the tailbone heavy. Press the machine all the way out to straight legs. Think about where your toes are in space. Now they don't get to move, so as you bend your knees in, it's going to feel like you flex at your ankle, taking it into dorsal flexion. And as you press the machine all the way back out, it's going to feel like you point your toes a little bit, just keeping those feet nice and steady. Bending in and lengthening out. Exhale, resisting in. Where's my breath? Inhale, pushing the machine open. We've got 4 more. Resist. There's 4. Lengthening out. Bending in for 3. Footwork is that time in reformer class where I drop my mind into my body, constantly doing body scans for 2. It's my left side that's kind of knotty, wondering if I've got some tightness going on, where I feel that tightness. Lengthen out. What can I do to release that tightness? Bring the machine halfway in and pause. We're going to pulse the machine down. There's 8. Pulse 7. Breathe 6, 5, 4. A lot of glute work here for 3, 2. Last 1. Lengthening out. Bend, come all the way back. Now keep your feet wide, hold on to your turnout and drop down onto your toes. Press the machine open with wide toes. So as you press out, it's going to feel like you point your toes, and as you bend your knees in, you're going to flex at your ankles. So once again, keeping the heels steady in space, lengthening out, resisting in. And that's why we call this whole section of Pilates footwork and not leg work. It's because we're stabilizing our feet. Stabilization is probably the key ingredient or one of the most important parts to Pilates. Length, bringing it back. Once again, are those heels still? There's 4. Flexing at my ankles, I pull the machine in towards the stopper. Feeling like I point my toes as I lengthen out for 3. Resisting back. You can even ask a friend to hold on to your heels or toes for 2. When I would teach class, whoever's feet were wobbling around, I'd go hold on to them, pressing out last 1. Bring it halfway in and pause. From here, pulse it down 8, 7, glutes, 6, pelvic floor, 5, Kegel muscle, 4, 3, pulse 2, last 1, legs lengthen out to wash the movement out, bending your knees, coming all the way in. So prehensile, so knees and feet come together, arches on the foot bar. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can completely squeeze the knees and the feet together, very East Coast power Pilates, or you can separate 2 to 3 inches, West Coast, Ballsy, more rehab based. I like a few inches apart, sit bones distance parallel, push the machine out and pause. From here, keeping the arch on the foot bar, you're not going to lower down onto your ball of your foot. You're going to lower your heels under and knuckle your toes around. So if you're a birdie gripping onto a perch, sloth on a branch, chameleon in a tree, whatever you want to think about, keep gripping on, bending your knees, pushing your heels as low as you can as you resist in. Structurally, your heels are going to have to lift up a little bit, and that's fine. You just want to try to keep them low and keep knuckling those toes around, resisting in, lengthening out. Let's take this for 6. Pressing the machine open. Is your pelvis still in neutral? Resisting in for 5. Lengthening out. Take it for 4. Reaching away. Bending in for 3. Inhale, pressing the machine open. 2 more right here. Resist, there's 2. Lengthening out. Bring it halfway in and pause. Once again, tailbone's heavy, pelvic floor and glutes. Pulse it down 8. You will also feel quads and hamstrings here. 7. Breathe 6. Pulse 5. But can you pull it deeper into that under butt and pelvic floor for 4, 3, 2. Last 1. Lengthening out. Bending, coming all the way in. Scoot off of the shoulder blocks as you hit the stopper and give your knees a little hug in towards your chest, a little roll around on that low back for a moment. And we'll shift our legs into a tabletop position so my knees are directly above my sits bones and I could balance a cup of tea on my shins. I'm gonna hold on to my silver pegs, which are right by my ears, and let my elbows fall wide to the side. Keeping your shoulder blades connected to the mat, twist your legs to the right without letting the knees slide on one another. They're still perfectly lined up. My left hip comes up and off. This is spine twist supine, and exhale, pull the legs back to center. Twist the legs to the left, reaching out the right elbow, and exhale, center. Now I often call the name of the exercise out, twisting to the right, because it's always good to give it a name, but also keep in mind, a lot of different people call these exercises different things. And reach, breathe, center. If you have any questions about that, let me know. To the right for 2. And exhale, center. And to the left, last 1. Twist, feels so nice on the spine. Come back to center. Let your feet rest down. Let those hands go. Wiggle the fingers out. And we're gonna go ahead, get you up and off of your back here. We're gonna do our standing hip flexor stretches today. I like to do this on one red spring. You can do it on a green spring if you need a little bit more support. You can do it on a blue spring, but that's very light and you don't wanna slip out and accidentally slip into a split. So I think red spring is a great place to go. I'm going to then line my right foot up with the foot of the machine. There we go. And I'll tuck my left toe under against the shoulder block. You can also grab for a knee pad if you need it down beneath your left knee. My fingertips stay down on the foot bar, and I'm going to bend my right knee, kicking my left leg out behind me, hinging my chest forward. I have a little bend to my elbows till I find a nice hip flexor stretch on that left side. From here, I'll reach my left arm out to the side, and then side stretch up and over a bit to the right to just open up that hip flexor stretch a little bit deeper. And we're going to breathe right there for 4. Inhaling, exhale, breathe for 3. Abs keep pulling up and in, shoulder blades hook down. There's 2. Last breath right here. Bring that arm down, bend, come all the way in. Push your right leg out straight and press out to a nice split. As you split out, you can keep your right toes down if that works for you, or you can rock up onto your right heel, whatever feels best for you. You do want to be actively swinging your left hip bone forward, dropping your right hip down and back to increase the stretch, and breathe right there for 4. Ooh, that feels so good. So we're getting that hamstring stretch along with the hip flexor stretch for 3. Take 2 more deep breaths. And last one, come all the way in. I'm just going to go up and over my machine very carefully onto the opposite side, tucking my right toe under against the shoulder block, walking my left foot forward so that my big toe lines up with the foot of the machine. Bending my left knee, kicking my right leg, or my right leg up behind me, opening up the carriage. My left knee is directly above that ankle, opening up the right hip flexor, reaching my right arm out to the side, and then side stretching up and over to the left, breathing right there. And take that for 4. Opening up that right hip flexor for 3. Take 2 more breaths. Last one. Replacing that right hand back down, bending, pulling the machine in towards the stopper, then elongating out the left leg, pressing out to a nice split here. Still swinging my right hip bone forward, shifting my left glute down and back. I then rock up onto the left heel of my foot, and I get a beautiful split stretch right there. So it's hamstring on the left, still hip flexor on the right. And breathe. There's 4. Take it for 3. Inhaling, exhale, there's 2. Last deep breath right there. Lovely, bringing the machine all the way in. It's time to get those arms working now. I'm gonna come on to one blue spring, which is for this exercise. We're gonna do kneeling arm work facing the foot bar, a little heavy. I mean, you could potentially do it on a red spring, which power to you. I like it on a blue. If you've got neck stuff going on, I recommend a yellow. So find the spring that works best for you, and let's get going.
line yourself up on the machine and then reach back and grab for those either little loops or long loops into your hands. I'm gonna go for my long loops today. Now, mind your balance here. Balance is so important, and balance in a kneeling position is really gonna come from your pelvic floor and glutes. So you'll bring yourself up onto your knees. I'll then scoop my knees back just a little bit. I drop my hands down in line with the hips, and I lift up through the heart. This is my start position. Once again, glutes and pelvic floor. Reaching my arms out in front of me, I bring them up in line with my ears. I rotate my palms to face my foot bar, and I drop my hands down in line with my hips. Pretty much throughout this whole series, we will, but for the most part, we won't. Let our hands go behind our bodies. So we bring our arms out in front of us, we rotate our palms to face the foot bar, and as I draw my arms down, you're going to be tempted to let the arms go behind your body here. You want to control the movement down so your pinky kind of drops right in line with your femur bones. Let's take this up for 6. Rotate and stretch. Bringing it up for 5. Rotate and reaching around. Abs to spine, shoulder blades hooked down. There's 4. Reaching those arms out to the side. Once again, if you're hypermobile in your elbow joints or in your shoulders, make sure you keep a bare softness to those elbows. For 3, you don't want to lock them out. Take 2 more, then you're just hanging in your joints versus getting all the good work. Took me years to figure that one out. Bringing it up, last one. Rotate your thumb and forefingers to face the foot bar, and then kiss your thumb and forefingers together. We're gonna do tricep work here. Now, there's many ways to do this. What I like to do is keep my humerus, the upper part of my arm, stable. Bend your hands behind your head on an inhale, and press those arms out. Reach. So once again, I'm stabilizing the upper part of my arm, and just moving from my elbow to my fingertips. Press. We've got 6 more right here. Press. There's 6. If this is bothering your neck, you can bring your thumbs towards the hairline instead for 5. So you just drop it down. The straps kind of get you a little bit. There's 4. Up to you, whatever works best for your body. For 3. Bend. Abs to spine. There's 2. Hinge. Press to hold. Now, we're going to reverse the direction of the circle that we did in that previous set. So I'm going to go pinkies and palms up. Reach my arms out in front of me. So if I'm holding something in my palms, and then I drip it down towards the ground. So my palms are facing my foot bar as I press into the strap, bringing my arms up in line with my ears. Once again, my hands are not behind my body. Rotate pinkies and palms up and bring those arms down in front of you. Pressing the arms into the straps. There's 6. Rotate and resist. Chest is proud, back of the neck is long. There's 5. And bringing the arms down. Pressing into the straps, shoulder blades hooked down for 4. Resisting back. Reaching around and up for 3. Rotating down. Take 2 more. There's 2. Resisting back. Pressing out and up, last 1. Bring it about halfway down and hold. Now bend your elbows on top of the straps for hug a tree. I have a softness to my elbows and I have a round shape. My arms are making a round shape. I'm going to inhale, open my arms out to the side. Exhale, close 8. Once again, my arms don't flatten out as I do this. I keep that softness to the elbows for 7. Once again, hug a tree. Breathe for 6. We are working the pecs or the chest, but I want you to feel a lot of this in your lats. For 2, so that's where you're stabilizing from. And then last 1, resist. Replace that strap all the way down onto the pegs. We're gonna get into some side lying glute work. So for side lying glutes, 1 blue is on the lighter side, 1 red is medium, 1 green is heavy. I'm gonna go for that red spring today. So I'm going to switch it out. I will then turn to face the camera. Make sure your headrest is completely flipped up. Some people also like to grab a little bit of a pillow. I'm going to lay down on my right side. So my left side is facing the ceiling. I'm going to be doing my left glute first. And I'm going to scoop my hips back so my bum is almost touching the wood frame behind me. Grabbing for that forward strap, put the long loop onto the arch of the foot and reach that leg out nice and long. My bottom oblique is lifted up and off. So you need to be able to reach underneath your bottom side waist. If you let, right now it's my right side because that's the side I'm laying down, collapse onto the mat, all of this work is going to go into the hip. If you really lift it up and you take that left leg and you reach it out as far as you can, you drop it nicely into the glute. I then put my left hand on my hip bone. I'm going to swing my left leg forward, keeping it parallel with the ground. Squeeze the glute and press the leg out 8 times. 8. Bringing it forward. I do press the leg slightly behind me for 7. Bringing the leg forward. Squeeze and press there. 6. Inhaling. Exhale, lengthen out for 5. Bringing the leg forward. Taking it out for 4. Inhaling. Exhale, breathe for 3 more. There's 3. Resist the leg forward. Squeeze and press for 2. On the next one, you're going to lengthen the leg out towards the foot bar and pause. From here, flex the foot, reach the leg out even further. We're going to bend your leg into a side lying tabletop. So when I do this, I can perfectly line the strap up on my shin and press the leg all the way back out to straight again, lengthening away. So the leg is still parallel with the ground. We're just hinging at the hip, bringing into a side lying tabletop and pressing back out. And we have 6 more to go. Bring it in for 6. Squeezing the glute and pressing out. Resisting in for 5. Ooh, hello, under butt and length. Here's 4 more. Reach, breathe for 3. Lengthening out. 2 more, bending in for 2. Pressing the machine away. Bringing it in, last 1. Press all the way out and hold. Turn the toe to face the ceiling. Now same thing but external rotation. So bend your knee up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the glute and press the leg out 8 times. 8. Bending up. Squeeze and press for 7. Resist. Ooh, hello, glute for 6. Abs are nice and strong. Shoulder blades are hooking down. There's 5. Bending up. Press for 4. Resist. Reach for 3. Bend. Whew. Last 2. I'm really happy I didn't do this on a green today. Press and hold. Bring the leg in, let it have a rest down, and give yourself a love tap if need be. Sometimes you need that. We're not done yet though. We're gonna take this loop and let it come right up above our knee like a knee-high sock. So the strap is now up, going around the lower part of my hamstring. I still have that lift in my bottom oblique, and I will then hover the top leg off the bottom leg. We're gonna take your kneecap and draw me a 6-inch circle for 8. Circle 7, 6, 5, 4, circle 3, 2, and reverse. 8, 7, 6, 5, ooh, hello glute, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Let the leg rest down, give yourself a love tap. Whatever is easiest for you. You can either take the strap off and sit up, or sit up and take the strap off, which is what I like to do. Replacing the strap down onto the peg. And we're gonna stretch out this hip a little bit. So figure 4 stretch. I'm gonna cross my left ankle to my right knee, pressing that knee down, ooh, and taking a lovely stretch right there. Inhaling and exhale, breathing. Let's take 3 more deep breaths right here. Breathe for 3. Take it for 2. Last deep breath. Before we move over onto the other side, we are going to do a little abdominal work. So we're going to do a little spring adjustment, possibly, depending on where you are. We're going to put it on 1 blue spring. This can be done on a red. Obviously, the heavier the spring, the more challenging this exercise will be. I like to do it on a blue. If I do it on a red, sometimes it goes into my low back and I don't like that. And we're gonna be flipping our headrest down just for right now. We're gonna spin you around so you're facing your risers, and then scoot your bum pretty close to those shoulder blocks. Take your straps and take them right up above your knees like knee-high socks. Once that happens, lay yourself all the way down on your back, and you might have to scoot a little bit farther forward. Now, a little disclaimer, if you have long hair, it really hurts when it gets stuck in the spring, so either bun it up on top or keep it out of your spring wall. I do not want you to rip some hair out today. Once you lay all the way down on your back, you'll hug your knees in towards your chest and just take a little breather right here. At this point, you want to make sure that the straps are the same distance to your knee. And let's go for a nice chest lift up, legs find tabletop. Hands can come behind your head to support your neck, down by your side, or you can hold on to your long loops if you do have double loops to give yourself a little support. I like my hands down by my side. Sometimes I even let them rest on the carriage. Reach the legs out on an inhale and exhale, pull the knees in 8 times. 8. Length and breathe. 7. Tailbone's heavy, chest is proud. There's 6. And exhaling for 5. Pressing the legs away and resisting in for 4. Are you pulling with one leg more than the other for 3? Are you nice and even? Lengthening out, take it for 2. Pressing the legs open and bringing them in. Last one, hold on to your shins. You can let your head go back into the wall, which I'm gonna do, but once again, if you get your hair caught in the spring, it really hurts. Oh, it feels good on my neck to let it stretch into extension. Okay, next set, chest lift up to hold, legs find tabletop. Hands come behind the head and twist the upper body to the right. Think right elbow behind you, left elbow up towards the ceiling. Same exact thing with the legs. Holding onto that right rotation, reach the legs out and pull them in 8 times. And 7. So you should be really getting a lot of left oblique work here for 6. Take 5. Breathe for 4. Slow with control for 3. 2 more. There's 2. Last one right here. Hold on to the knees. Let your head have a rest back. Take a breath or 2. Enjoy a moment. Stretch out that upper back if need be. We have 2 more sets to go. Hug those knees in. Okay, legs find tabletop. Hands behind the head, twist the upper body to the left. Reach those legs out and pull them in 8 times. 8. This should now be your right oblique for 7. Breathe 6. Inhale, reach. Exhale, take 5. 4 more. Starting to sweat. Breathe for 3. 2 more. And last one. Hold on to the knees. Take a breather. I'm gonna let my head go back because it feels good on my body. And we've got 1 more set to do. So on this last set, it's a little rubbing the head, patting the belly, so just be prepared. Worst comes to worst, just hold your upper body and center if you get confused. Bring your legs into tabletop, hands behind the head. Just reach your legs away. Pull the knees in and twist the upper body to the right. Bring the legs back to center, pull the knees in and twist to the left. We've got 6 more to go. There's 6. Breathe for 5. Once again, sinking your abdominals down for 4. Scooping out the core for 3. I'm telling myself you can do anything for 2. And last one right here. Hug your knees in, have a rest, take a moment. Whatever is easiest for you, you can sit yourself up and take the straps off, or take the straps off and sit yourself up. But let's replace those straps back down onto the pegs. We have to do our glute work on the opposite side now. So we've got to do a few things to the carriage. I'm going to flip my headrest back up. Once again, you may have a pillow. Pillow actually feels lovely on the neck, and we've got to adjust our springs. So I did my glute work on 1 red spring, so I'm going to put that 1 red spring back on, and I'm going to get rid of the blue spring that I was doing my ab work on. I'm going to lay all the way down now on my left side to work my right glute. I'm going to be facing my pirate painting, so I'll be looking away from you two, you lovely people. Whew. Once I'm all the way down, I'm going to scoot my bum pretty far back so it almost lines up with the wood frame behind me. And like I said before, it's really important that your bottom rib cage and side waist are lifted up and off the carriage here. I'll then grab for that strap that's right in front of me, put the long loop onto the arch of my foot, and lengthen that leg out as far as I can. You're going to be tempted to let this bottom side waist collapse down. That's going to take all the energy and dump it kind of into my upper hip, lower back. If I lift that bottom side waist up and off and I reach through that leg, then it goes, hello glute. Keeping that leg parallel with the ground, and your top hand can be wherever it wants. Mine wants to be on the shoulder rest or shoulder block right now. You're going to swing that right leg forward on an inhale, squeeze your right glute, and press the leg out for 8. Bring the leg forward. Squeeze and press there, 7. Resist. Breathe for 6. Inhaling forward. Exhale, length for 5. Forward. Back of the neck is long. There's 4. I just caught myself looking down at my body. You don't want to do that. You want to look straight ahead so your neck's in line with the spine. For 3. Forward, hello, right glute for 2. Whew. Reach. Now press and hold the leg all the way out there. Flex the foot, bend the knee in and forward. Squeeze your glute and press the leg out. There's 8. Resist. Squeeze and press. There's 7. Bending in. Lengthening out for 6. Resist. Abs keep carving up and in. There's 5. Bending in. Pressing away for 4. Take it for 3 more. There's 3. Bend, press 2. Once again, every time you press the leg out, press it out a whole inch further. Last one, turn the toe to face the ceiling. Bend your knee up towards the ceiling. Squeeze the glute, press the leg out, 8. Bend the knee up. Pelvis doesn't move. You're going to be tempted to rock that hip backwards for 7. Try to keep it totally steady so you're only working your external rotation for 6. Bend, press 5. Are you engaging your pelvic floor as you press the leg out for 4? I hope so. I am. Breathe for 3. Bend, press 2. Resist. Last one right here, lengthening out. Bring the knee in, let it have a rest down. Give yourself a love tap, because sometimes you just need to do that. We're going to slide that strap right up above the knee like a knee-high sock. So now we have to do our little 6-inch circles. Make sure that your bottom oblique and rib cage are still lifted up and off. Hover the top leg off the bottom leg and draw me that nice circle for 8. Circle 7. Breathe 6. 5. 4. Circling for 3. 2. And reverse that direction. 8. 7. Abs to spine 6. 5, 4, 3, 2, and last one. Let that leg rest all the way down. Give yourself a love tap. Whatever's easiest, you can sit up and take the strap off, or take the strap off and sit up, replacing the strap back down onto the peg. I'm facing my pirate painting, but I'm crossing down my right leg, the leg that we just worked, to the left knee, and I'm taking a nice figure 4 stretch right there because it feels so nice. Whew. And we're going to end with a little happy strap today. So first things first, whenever you do single legged, either arms or legs, you want to, when you're done, make sure your straps are still the same length and mine are still lined up. Sometimes they get a little off there, and then you're princess in the pea when you do feet and straps. Look down into your spring well. For feet and straps, I like to do this on 2 red springs. It can be done on a red and a blue if that's better for you, a little bit lighter. If you do a red and a blue, something just a good general information is you never want to put on 2 springs that are right next to one another. So if I'm going to put on a red and a blue spring, I want them as far away from one another as possible versus being bunched up. Otherwise, you're going to weight one side of the carriage heavier. So just something to think about, something to know.
or maybe you don't, or maybe you do. We'll lay you all the way down on your spine. Your headrest can be up or down. Line up those shoulders, line up the hips, grab for those long loops and put them onto the arch of the foot. Press the legs out as long as you can. Now, keep the tailbone heavy, pelvis is in neutral, spine is in neutral, chest is proud, chin is up, hands come down by your side. Bring your legs straight up towards the ceiling without letting the pelvis move, and exhale, press the legs down towards the foot bar, towards the earth. Take that for 7, and lengthening the legs out. Bringing the legs up, there's 6, pressing down, lifting up for 5, reaching away. Here's 4 more. Lengthening out. Last 3. Sometimes I take my hands onto my hip bones just to give a little tactile cue to make sure my pelvis isn't moving. For 2. I invite you to do the same. Bring the legs up. Now on this next one, you're going to press about 3/4 the way down and hold. Go heels together, toes apart. Bend your knees in like a frog. Whenever I do frog and it's a little bit of flare, I like to pull my toes back, take it into dorsal flexion as I bend my knees in. As I press my legs out, I like to point my toes. Not a necessity, but it's kind of fun. Bending in and pressing out. Take this for 6 and reaching away. Bringing it in for 5. Length. Here's 4. Press. I also like to pretend like I put a $100 bill in between my heels for 3. You don't want to lose it. Lengthening out. Take it for 2 more, squeezing those inner thighs together. Last one right here. Press to hold. Now when we do leg circles, you're always taught to keep external rotation. So you'd press down in external rotation, open out to the side, up towards the ceiling. As the legs come up, the heels are together, the toes are apart, and you press down that way. Which, if that's how you were taught, by all means go that way. I really like to, as I bring my legs up, bring my legs to a nice true parallel. I like to press down in parallel, externally rotate at the bottom, circle around and up. But like I said, if you want to do all in external rotation, go for it. Whatever feels good for you. If you really want to be a rebel, and sometimes it does feel really good, press down in internal rotation. Bring the big toes together, heels apart to press down. Rotate to external rotation and bring the legs around and up. Your choice. Let's take 2 more this direction. Take it down for 2. Around and up. The beauty of Pilates is, as long as you're following the key principles, there are a lot of variations. And hold at the top. Let's start to reverse. Open out to the side, bringing the legs down and around. Up towards the ceiling, opening out and bringing it around. We have 6 more to go here. And if you've been taught a certain way for many years and you want to keep working that direction, by all means go there. If I do something a little different, you want to give it a try, that's awesome too. Breathe. 2 more. Ooh, a nice right hip hop. Up, open, taking it around for 2. And last one right here. We are going to end the class with long spine and short spine today. Either one of those exercises requires one important key factor, and that is flipping the headrest down flat. You cannot do this with your head rest elevated. It's too much stress on your occiput, which is basically the base of your skull. So, long spine first. Long spine is your legs are going to be parallel. Hands are going to come down, and I like to take my pinkies or my ring finger and my pinky to the frame of the machine. We're going to start with the legs reaching out. We'll then fold at the hip, bringing your legs straight up towards the ceiling, and your goal here is to create a right angle. Our hands are on the frame of the machine because now we don't want the carriage to move at all. We're going to tuck the pelvis, roll your hips all the way up towards the ceiling, levitation without letting the carriage move. Separate the feet 2 to 3 inches and articulate your spine back down to the carriage as if you were doing a pelvic curl. Think about that 1 curl at a time comes down. I also find a little tension spot in the left side of my spine, my multifidi. Once you get your tailbone down, separate the legs, circle them down, around, and together. Bring the legs straight up towards the ceiling and you pause. Without letting the carriage move, roll those hips all the way up towards the sky. Once you get up to the top, separate the legs a bit and roll the pelvis all the way back down. Once again, I notice in my body, I'm tighter in my left multifidi. And your multifidi or your multifidus is the cable that runs up and down along the sides of the spine. Bring the legs together. One more long spine. Bring the legs straight up towards the ceiling and pause. Always, whatever you're doing in Pilates, be taking inventory on your body. Roll it all the way up, separate, and articulate back down. Carriage stability. The carriage should not be moving while you're levitating. Tailbone comes down, bring the legs around. Heels together, toes apart. So that's one of the key differences between long spine and short spine. And now we're going to do our short spine is I am an external rotation for short spine. Hands come down onto the mat. We do not need to touch the frame because we're not levitating at all here. Our goal in this first part of short spine is hamstring stretch. So we're going to fold our body in half, keeping our tailbone heavy. In a perfect world, our tailbone would stay on the mat and we would touch the stopper. The world is not perfect and my pelvis is up. Once you hit the stopper, you're going to keep tension in the straps but no pressure as you articulate up your spine one vertebrae at a time. It's kind of like a jackknife. Bend your knees down by your ears. So I'm in external rotation still and my feet are directly above my face. Roll down your spine one vertebrae at a time, keeping your feet above your face for as long as you can. When you can't take it anymore, pull your heels towards your bottom, press through frog, and extend out. And we have 2 more to go. When you're doing this, make sure your gaze is up towards the ceiling. If you're doing this and you're looking to the side, you're going to tweak your neck a little bit. Fold your body in half. Find that stopper. Enjoy that stretch. Exhale, lift. Inhale, bend down. Once again, I like to think of this as an upside down frog. Keep your feet above your face as you roll down the spine one vertebrae at a time. Heels towards bottom, press through, extend out. Last one, fold. Can you keep your hips down a little bit longer than you did on the first 2? Can you increase that stretch just a bit? Exhale, lift. Inhale, bend. Exhale, roll through. Feet above the face for as long as you can. And you can't take any more, heels towards bottom, press through, extend out. Bring your legs straight up towards the ceiling. Grab onto the plastic right up above the hardware. Give yourself a nice hamstring stretch, a straddle stretch. You could do a butterfly stretch, a happy baby stretch. You gotta grab a little bit further up on the straps. Whatever your body needs for about 3 or 4 deep breaths. While you're stretching, I just want to say thank you so much.